Welcome to another tech video. So today we're going to be having a look at a Dell Inspiron 3505, which is AMD Ryzen 5 mobile processor with Vega 8 graphics. So that's using shared memory. So what is the use case for this laptop? So we're not sure at the moment because we haven't had a look at it, but it's your type of everyday home and business use computer. It's not a gaming laptop. This is for everyday use, so it's ideal for homeschooling, working from home, and general use. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at it, talk about the specs, and then we're going to have a look at the upgrade options by getting inside it and seeing what options there are for upgrading memory, adding additional SSD drives, if any, and potentially also having a look at swapping out the M.2 SSD drive to see how easy or difficult that is. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing and have a look at the device itself. We've got our power adapter. If I can just get in here. Inside here we've got our 45 watt power brick. And then your typical plasticky cover, which we're really not a fan of on Dell products, packaging them in plastic bags. There's a lot of manufacturers now who are putting things in a nice cloth cover, but Dell carry on insist on using the cheapest possible packaging material. Not saying there's anything wrong with it because it works. It doesn't make any difference really if it's packaged well in the box, but we always prefer, it's a sign of quality when you're using, you know, a nice soft cloth on the top of it. So let's remove the box. Okay, so what have we got? So we've got a in quotes black finish Dell Inspiron laptop. It's nice and thin. Build quality is good. So let's have a look around the device itself. So what have we got on the front underneath? So we've got our two stereo speaker grills, stereo because one on each side. Underneath the back as well we have an air intake across here, and then we've got our exhaust, two-section exhaust on the back of the case itself. So let's have a look inside the device. Opening it up. Okay, so we have got a screen protector on here, which is good. We've got two little cutouts for the escape key and the power button. Not sure why that's got a cutout on those. Maybe in case you want to keep the device covered over when you're turning it on, but anyway, that's it. So let's remove that. So this comes with Radeon 8 Vega graphics as part of the CPU, which is great. It doesn't come with a fingerprint sensor on the power button, but it does come with a few other options which are quite neat, so we'll have a look at those when we're talking about the specifications shortly. Let's have another look around the side of the laptop. So on the side of the laptop we've got our typical Kensington lock port here. We've got an SSD drive slot, and we'll talk about the SSD drive speeds shortly, and we've got an SD card reader on this side. On the other side we've got our combined headset jack, so this is headphones and microphone combined. We've got another two USB ports here, and we've got our RJ45 network connection here, Gigabit network connection, and we've got an HDMI 1.4 port here, and then we've got our power adapter, and we've got our power LED there. In terms of other LEDs on the device, I can't see any drive LEDs, so I'm assuming that will possibly be combined with the power, but possibly not, so maybe we don't actually get a disk or drive LED indicator on this device. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to the outside. On the inside we've got a standard trackpad standard trackpad here. You can probably hear that clicking. Nice satisfying click there. You've got standard keyboard, which is quite nice. You've got a little bit of travel on the keys there, so it does feel like you're pressing them, unlike the Mac keyboards nowadays. I quite like to feel a bit of travel on the keyboards there, so that's nice that it's got that. In terms of the webcam, so this is a 720p HD webcam, and what else to say about the webcam? Just 720p, and I think it's 0.92 megapixels, 30 frames a second. That's all there is to say about that. Next thing we're going to talk about is the screen itself. So this is a full HD 1920 by 1080p, wide viewing angle, 220 nits, 141 pixels per inch, and it's got a 400:1 contrast ratio, 35 millisecond response time, and 60 hertz refresh rate. So that's the laptop itself. So let's now talk about the upgrade options. So what I'm going to do is we're going to tear this down, or we're going to remove the back cover, and we're going to have a look at what the upgrade options are in there. Okay, so let's now have a look at how we get into the device. So we have a look down here. Bring this down a little bit. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws around the back. There's no screws hidden under any panels. We might have a couple of screws under the feet, but I'm not going to take those out just yet. So what are the tools that we need? So we need a Phillips screwdriver. Actually, this panel is coming away, which is quite nice. So it's going to be relatively simple to get underneath here and get into the box itself. And again, this corner's raising up nicely. That is probably because of the hinge, I would have thought. So it pushes the corner up, which is good. I wouldn't recommend taking the device apart. I would leave that to service centre personnel, but if you do want to take it apart and upgrade it, well, then you're going to need to. You want to make sure that you keep all the screws nice and safe so you don't lose any of them. Okay. Okay, that's all the screws out. Most of the screws out. In terms of screw length, nice to see that they're all the same size at the moment. These two at the back here might be slightly bigger. And then to get into the device itself, we are going to use a little prizer tool that we've got, which will just slide in all the right places, prising the cover up as we go. Now we're using a metal one of these, but you can use obviously a plastic one. You do want to be very careful when you're levering under the edges to make sure that you're actually not damaging anything. And it will just unclip all the way around, and once it does, that will just lift off the top. So we're going to take that and put that to one side. Okay, nice to see the layout in here. So let's have a look what we've got underneath here. Okay, so once we're inside, as you can see here, what have we got? So nice to see some upgrade ability on this device. So our CPU and heat spreader runs through to our heat dissipation block with the fan here, so that will draw air from underneath the cover and expel the heat out from the back here, which is nice. So we've got two areas, one slot there and one over the top, so you get the maximum airflow, pulling air in and ejecting it. Over here we've got an M.2 Wi-Fi card. As you can see here, no upgradability on that at all. It is what it is. It's AC Wi-Fi, so good high throughput rate there. Here is our memory. So it comes with 8 gig of memory as standard, but you can obviously upgrade, put another RAM stick in, or take that RAM stick out and replace it with a matched pair. So it would take up to 64 gig in total, and it's DDR4 2400 megahertz RAM. Over here we've got our M.2 SSD drive. So this is one of the small drives, but you've got the ability to add a variety of different lengths here. Comes with 256 gig as standard, but that can be upgraded to whatever size that you want. The nice thing as well is, in theory, there's no point upgrading the M.2 drive unless you really need it. What I would suggest is using that for the operating system itself and your applications. But over here we've got, as you can see here, we've got a space to add 2.5 inch HD or 2.5 inch SSD drive here. So potentially what you could do is have the OS running on a 256 gig M.2 drive to keep it nice and fast, and then you can use your data store, so your documents and other things that you want to install, like games for instance, you could install on a 2.5 inch SSD drive over here. So this will take whatever size you throw at it. Basically it's SATA 3, so you can connect whatever size SSD drive you want in there. In terms of memory and in terms of CPU and graphics upgrades, you can't. So this is a mobile chip, Ryzen 5, which is that already comes with the Vega 8 graphics on board. So it's a 3500U processor, quad core. So this runs at 2.1 gigahertz and it bursts up to 3.7 gigahertz, and it comes with a 4 meg cache. So in terms of the inside of this device, great upgrade compatibility, so adding more memory, upgrading the drive, adding additional drive. Also, a few years down the line when the battery wears out, you've got the ability to take the back off and change the battery. So in terms of battery life, it's reported to be 8.5 hours of general use. What else comes with this? So on the Wi-Fi card, you've got Bluetooth built in as well. So that's Bluetooth 4.1. So it's not the latest offering of Bluetooth, but it's perfectly good for, you know, connecting headsets, headphones, that type of thing, for your general usage. So let's now talk about the speed of the USB. So on the single port on this side, so the side with the memory card reader, this is a USB 2 port, and then on the other side you've got two USB 3.2 ports, so that's the high-speed data transfer rates. That's all there is to it. I hope you found having a look inside useful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it all back together, and we'll get it connected up, and we'll have a look at the software that comes bundled with it. Okay, so here we are now booted into Windows. So what we're going to do is we want to have a look at what comes bundled with the system. So we go into our settings, and then we're going to go into apps, because we always remove all of the what we call bloatware. Dells aren't too bad usually. However, we'll wait and see. We normally have some antivirus, McAfee or something like that to remove. Let's go through this. So lots of Dell applications, as you would imagine. Dropbox promotion, so that can come out, as our client is not going to be using Dropbox. If you are going to be using Dropbox, then the promotion usually gives you a little bit more storage. Office 365, so they're not going to be using Office 365, so we're going to get rid of that as well. And in terms of bloatware, that is fairly impressive. There's absolutely no bloatware on this system at all. So if you're looking for a system just to get set up to start using for homeschooling or working from home, then this will be a fantastic device. So the Radeon graphics, the Vega 8 graphics, not sure on the ability of that. However, if you're going to be playing very basic games, then it'll be absolutely fine for that. Don't expect the latest Call of Duty to work particularly well in terms of frame rates. However, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, business software that uses the built-in webcam is going to be perfectly good for that. So all in all, would we recommend this device? Yeah, definitely. So this is a great machine. It's got really good build quality. It feels nice and solid. So let's have a look at the weight of the device. So it's 1.83 kilos, so it's nice and light, easily transportable, very, very thin. And the output as well from the HDMI port, as you can see here, we're actually using HDMI that's going into our capture software to show you the screen. That is all working really, really well. So now that's completed, just want to say that if you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and just like to say thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.